Hi, everybody. Prince, the greatest tribute that I can pay this beautiful musical icon is to share his birth chart with you, which I will do right now. Now, I'm going to give you his birth data. He was born June 7th, 1958 at 6:17 p.m. in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And if you look at his chart, you will see the moon right here down in the fourth house of home, family, and real estate. He was born in Minneapolis, and he called that his home. Now, you might say the emotional attachment to home, to emotional security, very, very strong in his chart. His moon was in Pisces, and Pisces is the one who hears a distant melody. Pisces is the one who is divinely inspired, and wasn't he? As a Gemini sun, he is multi-talented, constantly moving forward mentally. And the third part, the sun, the moon, and the ascendant, I call them the Holy Trinity. It is Scorpio ascendant, the most powerful sign in the entire zodiac. When you have a Scorpio ascendant or sun or moon or even planets in your 8th house, your Scorpio qualities of transformation, transmutation, all or nothing, out with the old, in with the new, are magnified. The ascendant is the most personal point in the chart, and so we can see that Prince's Scorpio ascendant gave him incredible personal power. And Pluto, which rules the ascendant, which rules Scorpio, was in 29 degrees of Leo, right at the midheaven, the top of his chart, 29 degrees of Leo. This tells us that he was able to take his personal power to transform, apply it in his career, totally transform his own public image, totally transform the world by his presence. The 29th degree tells us that he was finishing up the lesson of control, transformation, and transmutation through his career in this lifetime, so that we know, without even knowing anything about him, that he completed his mission here. But I'm going to walk you through the zodiac using his chart, and I hope you enjoy it. With the Scorpio ascendant, we've already touched on that. I'm going to talk about the sun. The sun is the center of our solar system. It is the center of our life. Wherever it falls in our chart, that is where we focus our light. Prince had his sun in the 8th house, ruled by Scorpio in the natural zodiac. Again, power, control, transformation, transmutation, alchemy, magic. He was magical. And it shows whenever you have the sun in the 8th house, it doesn't matter what sign it's in. Your ego is going to be transformed in this lifetime. You will go through a series of symbolic deaths and rebirths during this incarnation. And that is what he did. His vertex is in the 8th house. The vertex is your karmic role in life with other people. In the 8th house, his role with other people underwent a change constantly. I've also found, as perhaps you have too, the 8th house is the house of secrecy and privacy, and people with an 8th house sun are very private people. As he was a very public person. It was all or nothing in his career. And when he performed, that's how he performed, all or nothing. Let me just keep on going, since I've started with the 8th house sun. He had Uranus in his 9th. Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus is the rebel. Uranus says, I'm going to do my own thing. The 9th house deals with our belief systems, our philosophy of life. And he truly believed in being unique, different, and his own person. I'm not going to go into the aspects because that can get a little complicated, but we do know that with his Uranus squaring his Venus. Okay, I'm going into an aspect. He loved the unusual when it came to music, when it came to love, when it came to anything beautiful. And so his whole approach, his whole belief system was one of busting loose. And didn't he just do it? We talked about the powerful Pluto up there. Incredible. What a force. And that was the public prince. With the sun in the 8th, he was all about helping other people. He was all about doing for other people. And without letting people know he was doing it. Apparently, the ones closest to him knew this. With Jupiter, the great benefic, in his 11th house of friends, he was a friend to all. Anything in your 11th house makes you a true humanitarian, and he was. The North Node is your area of greatest success and fulfillment, according to traditional Western astrology. He wanted privacy and solitude. The 12th house is that. It is also the spirit plane. It deals with service. It deals with spirituality. And his music and his life reflected that. In addition, he had Neptune, which rules the natural 12th house. And this made him an incredibly spiritual person, in tune with the other side, wanting to serve, even being willing to sacrifice. That's Neptune in the 12th. Let's move on to Saturn in Sagittarius. It's a beautiful placement for it, I think. In his 2nd house, there was a concern, maybe as a youngster, about not having enough money. But Saturn is tangibility, it's reality. And he was able so much to create his own personal wealth. And remember, with the sun in the 8th, share it with others. It's all about giving. It's all about helping other people. With the moon in his 4th house, there's an emotional attachment to home and family. There's an instinctive need to have a home base. And what a home base he had, right? Now he has Mars behind the 5th cusp. Mars in Aries. Mars in Aries says, do it now. Let's not wait. Let's do it now. His passions ran very, very deep. The 5th house is all fun and games, all creativity, whether it is sex, whether it is art, it doesn't matter. And so there was an inner drive that propelled him forward in all creative adventures. Adventures, truly, adventures. And so he was driven to create. And with the South Node in his 6th house, this is, the South Node indicates what you have mastered in past lives. And in his chart, in the 6th house, he learned about service in past lives. Well, he continued to serve. The South Node is what you're instinctively drawn to. And the problem is, if you give it too much of your energy, it can drain you. So you want to use the South Node and the North Node to balance each other. Working, service, being needed. This is the South Node in the 6th house of health, work, and service. And between Tuesday and Wednesday of last week, the sun was on his South Node. Very often, the nodes are involved in physical transition. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, music and art, in Taurus, its own sign, in the 6th house of work, health, and service. He loved his work. Wherever Venus is, that's what you love. He loved to serve. His love of beauty, of sensuality, of art and music. I don't have to go into that with you. You know that was where he loved, where he lived his life. And with Mercury the planet of communication in Gemini, its own sign. And you know, when a planet is in its own sign, as his Venus in Taurus is, as his Mercury in Gemini is, let me see if there's any other. No, that's enough. They're stronger. Mercury is what we think about and talk about. And in Gemini, Prince was a true communicator, loved words, used different verbiage. He used it, of course, through his music. So, dear friend, this is my tribute to you. The world wishes you love and joy wherever you are.